Hello, Randy Pischel here with the Valentine Goose channel, also known as Star Thinker. Spoilers ahead, and my opinion, and all the other disclaimers. Um, so I was asked directly tonight a question, and I thought I would address that here because it was like too much to type in a chat room. Uh, and the question posed to me was, do I think the thrill of the chase hunt is over? And I have a lot to say about that. Uh, First of all, if you didn't know already, I took part in the treasure trove treasure hunt, and he put out, or Michael Stather, the author, put out a answer book where he not only like explained all the quizzes, or why am I having so much trouble with words tonight? He not only explained all the puzzles in the book, but he answered some questions too. Like, people would be like, hey, these two branches on page 55, did they mean anything? Because a lot of people were studying those. And he's like, no, I just drew those because there was some white space that needed a color. But there was one puzzle in there that was never solved. And so when I got the book, I was like, man, that's the one thing I want to know the answer to. And I flipping through the book, and I get to that part, and it says, here's the puzzle, blah, blah, blah. And it was never solved. Like, but this is your answer book. Why don't you give me the answer? So that puzzle has never been solved. And that hunt's over and done, and nobody thinks about it anymore. And there's still an unsolved puzzle with that. And I still pull it out from time to time because it looks so easy. You know, it's one of those puzzles where you're like, this has got to be easy. And if I could solve it, then maybe I could include that in another book as a homage. And then he came out with, Michael Stather, came out with The Alchemist Dar, which was the sequel to A Treasure Trove. And this time he said there is no boots on the ground. He said there's over 100 prizes. There's no boots on the ground. Everything's in the book that you need. Just follow the instructions. And this had tons of code. And you had to know base 12? You had to know or base 6, base 9. You had to know a different numbering system other than base 10. And there was a big block of code, and there was, I forget what you call them, but words that, the way he drew it, you could flip it upside down and it would be another word. And my daughter actually got a tattoo of one of those. She's got the tattoo that says light, and if you flip it over, it says dark. So that book ended rather abruptly with a lawsuit, and no answer book ever came out, and then the author passed away, and everyone kind of figured that the only way you could have a non-boots on the ground was to have these puzzles resolved to some sort of web page, like a hidden web page where maybe you filled out a form with your name on it and you'd get sent a prize or something. That was the ongoing thing, and but it ended abruptly with no answer. And I see people still to this day go, oh, yeah, I solved that, but I'm not going to tell you what it was. And there's no reason. You might as well just say, yeah, I'm lying through my teeth, because there's no reason to withhold that. In fact, you would be hailed as a hero if you could pull forth a solve from all that. And to say, yeah, I know it, but I'm not going to tell you what it was. To me, you're just lying through your teeth. And I will always say that. And that's kind of how Forrest Fenn's hunt ended. You have Jack saying, I know the answer, but I'm not going to tell you. And there's, in tonight's video, again, someone else said, that they think they had the answer that Jack had, and, but see, these are privacy concerns. There are reasons to withhold these. Whether you believe it or not, there might be legal concerns, there might be ethical concerns. For whatever reason, I personally think it's a financial concern. For whatever reason, he's withholding these. He's just saying, I'm not going to tell you. But the puzzle is still there. And just like the Treasure Trove and the Alchemist Star, I don't think it's over until the puzzles are solved. And even though there's no more prizes in the Alchemist Star, and there's no way to verify if it is a web page, the web pages are long gone. But if you come up with a solution, the solution will be clear and repeatable. And I think that, someday someone might find. I still pull that out every once. The big block of cold. I actually scan the entire book into my computer. So sometimes I pull it up and I'm like, oh, what was this? And I had a pretty good theory for it, and I never could pull a code out from my theory. But yeah, I mean, if someone solves that, I think that would be a big, big news. And if you say you solved it and you don't want to, you're just like, I'm not going to tell anybody. Nah. But in Forrest Fenn's Hunt, there's a good reason to. But in reality, that's not the question that was put to me. So this is the question that was really put to me. In my last video, we talked about, like, what if the token was found? What if it was found under various circumstances? What if it was missing? And apparently I didn't answer the question to their satisfaction. And by they, I won't say their name, but it rhymes with Bob Lazar's. And so what, and I did think about this a lot, and I've always thought about it. I hid the token long before I wrote the book, before I even had codes and stuff thought out. And it's still there. It's still untouched. It's still unmoved. It's not buried. There's not a leaf on it. There's not a speck of dust on it. Well, there might be dust on it. But I don't think, and there's instructions on it. So I think if someone were to find it, first of all, I mean, why would it show up missing? It would be because somebody found it. And if they found it and there was instructions on the back, I mean, I would think, hey, I might follow these instructions just out of curiosity, but I can't imagine anyone finding it and just pitching it without doing the instructions on the back. And it is pretty shiny and, dare I say, pretty. So someone might keep it just for that. But like, so the different scenarios. So let me come up with different scenarios. And the question was put forth: if someone hadn't solved all the clues in the book, and I've explained this before. Again, someone took my pad of paper, and I ate that. Every day I come in here, I go up to the supply room, I get a pad of paper, and the next day it's gone. So anyway, can we all see this? Can you all see that? Can you see this in the back? Yeah. My puzzles do can't use this pen because this pen is, if you click it, you get an electrical shock, and this is left over from April Fool's Day. I've had it sitting on my desk because I know people steal my pens all the time. And I almost just did it. That would have been funny on the camera. So this is a real pen. So I've always said my puzzles are layered. So one of the puzzles can lead you to a general area like that. And then another puzzle might lead you to a spot in the general area. And then another puzzle is going to lead you to a tinier spot. And like I said, and boom, boom, boom. And like I said, if you solve all the puzzles, it will take you to within inches of the token. And it has to, because you probably wouldn't find it otherwise. So, and another thing I've always said is, let's say someone solves, well, it's hard to do on camera, this puzzle right here. Now that puzzle, and I'm going to use an example that was here in Iowa. A magazine here in Iowa hid keys to, who makes them now? Anyway, the minis. I think BMW makes them now. But anyway, they had like 10 minis that they were giving away, and which is really, I thought that was ambitious for a magazine. Um, but they had puzzles in the magazine that would lead you to them, and the keys were, and I know some of the keys, well, I think most of the keys were taped to the bottom of picnic tables in various parks. So let's say you solved the clue that said taped to the bottom of a picnic table. Well, I mean, Iowa's a big state, but you could technically go to every picnic table in every park in the state and probably find some of the keys. So that's one way. If you could solve the little one, but not know where to go, and just start searching that spot and all the bigger spots. Another thing you might do is solve the clue for the big spot, or maybe even the smaller spot, and then just search that area with a fine-tooth comb, and you might find something that way. Although, again, I doubt very much you will. So the question was, if someone solved some of them and not all of them, and then sent me a note that said the token was gone, what would I do? So it would depend. If someone could send me the answer to the smallest one and said they went there and the token was gone, first I would go there and verify that it was indeed gone, that they didn't just overlook it. And if it was indeed gone, I would call that a win because they got to the spot. If someone wrote me and said they found this puzzle and the token was gone, I would go there and check it. And if it was indeed gone, I would not call that a win because they could not say, they would have to tell me where they looked and why they looked there. And I doubt very much if you got that puzzle, you would get close to the actual spot. So yeah, there's variations on that. Yeah, but first, if anyone told me anything, I would go check it. And I've had people, and this happens at least monthly, where someone will write me and say, hey, I was in Harrison Park in Westminster and I couldn't find it. Can you verify? Can you just tell me if that was the right park or not? And no, I can't do that because like the same person will write me 5 times with 5 different parks with the same story. And I know they're just trying to eliminate parks. So no, I can't verify that. If they happen to send me the right park, still I wouldn't verify that. I know one person, this is what prompted Valentine Goose in the first place, was someone wrote me and says, hey, I went to this one location and, according to your description, there's supposed to be something here. And there wasn't anything there. And I thought, well, that's really odd, but plausible. So I did some searching because it's an area where a lot of people take pictures. And that's where I accidentally found there's a traffic cam that I can kind of look at and say, oh, yeah, the area is intact. So I kind of know a tornado didn't go through or anything. But I haven't looked at that in a while. I'm going to try to pull that up tonight. But like, I forgot where I was. If they had, yeah, you're going to have to rewind the tape and remind me where I was. But yeah, I was looking at pictures and stuff and to try to see if what he said was true. Because, you can go on Google Maps and pull the little guy out and there'll be blue dots where people took pictures. And there's lots of pictures around this one area. So I dropped the guy on there several times. I'm like, I really can't tell if there's something there. And, I'm looking at the dates of the pictures also. And they're all after the time I was there. I would look at Google Earth and zoom in and I'm like, well, this just doesn't have the resolution. So that's when I decided, yeah, I'll do my Valentine Goose. I actually went and walked through the entire puzzle while I was there, which took me all day. And I didn't even visit 100% of the spots, but I visited my favorites. And the first place I went was where this person said, "Hey, this is missing," and I walked up there and I was like, "It's right there." So either they were trying to troll me to get information or something, but yeah, they described the correct spot, but then said nothing was there, and I got there and it was there. So I don't know what they were trying to do. So luckily, I never answered them. But yeah, then I made my first video that said, "Hey, all the clues are still there." I had to it's funny because it's like I didn't do them all in one day. This was spread out over the course of me writing the book. But if you want to just go and do it, it did take all day. And I visited every single spot. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of reminiscing. I got to relive Denver all over again. But I hope that answers the question. So, in summary, if you got the big spot and you can't tell me where you looked for the little spot, then I'm going to call that a no-win. If you got the little spot and you looked and I go there and the token's gone, I would probably call that a win. And like I said in my last video, I would probably put something out that says, "Hey, someone's come forth with the correct answer and the token's gone. So if you have the token, you have 2 weeks to let me know. If at the end of 2 weeks no one lets me know, then this person will get the prize." So I mean, maybe someone got the token and they're hanging on to it for whatever reason. I would imagine if they were part of the hunt, they would be monitoring the Facebook page and the forums and the Reddit page. I don't think anyone uses the Reddit page except me, so I do make announcements there from time to time. But yeah, that's how I would do it. And again, I used to have really, really bad anger issues, and I'm talking bad anger issues like fists through windows and running people off the road because you're road raging. And that was like 20 years ago. And I'm completely the opposite now. I am very laid back. And I'm the type of person that says, well, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So having said all this, yeah, if someone found it, I would probably go, I'll have a chat with them. I'll talk with them. I'll see what they say. I'll go verify the spot. It's like I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I don't worry about the future. My friend had an engine light come on just a couple weeks ago, parked her car and says, "I'm not driving this." And I said, "Okay, I'll come up. I'll take it to the Kia dealer." I kind of knew what the code was, and it was like a bad sensor. So I said, "Well, I'll take it to the Kia dealer," because the mechanic looked at it and couldn't fix it. And she was just for like that 2 weeks. She was like, "Oh, it's going to cost thousands of dollars. I'm going to be horrible." Oh, and it was horrible. And and this is like the second visit. And I get there and it's like $150 to fix. And so I'm like, "Look, don't cross the bridge before you get there. Don't count your chickens before you're up the creek without a paddle. Don't don't look to the future. Don't." And that's kind of how I was, very pessimistic, very worst case scenario. And it's been explained to me that people that follow the worst case scenarios are more prepared for the smaller cases. But to me, it's just like, for something like that, I don't even, I'll just say I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I'll peel that banana when I find it. Whatever other euphemisms you could think of. But yeah, those are some of the, I hope that answered the question. So yeah, it would depend. And on the other topic, there was a few movies I purchased back when you couldn't find these anywhere. I thought I would recommend these because I'm told someone doesn't like TV. The Land of the Lost is a very silly movie, but I laughed all the way through it. It does not take itself seriously. I know some people were like, "This is the worst movie ever." That's because they thought it was a serious movie, but it wasn't. It was like a bunch of people got together and made the silliest movie they could. And it is very funny from start to finish. And I enjoyed it very much, and I would recommend that one. Rango is another one. You want to watch that in very high def, the highest def you can get, because the visuals on that are just absolutely gorgeous. There's a scene where this guy's face catches fire and he slides a gun across the bar, and they zoom in on the gun, and if you pause it there, you would swear that was a real, actual photo of a gun. It doesn't look like CGI. And then, all these silly characters and stuff, it's so real. And I love the story. Again, it's a mystery. So if you're into mysteries, yeah, and there are 2 deaths in it. I know she was like, I don't like deaths, but one takes place off screen, so you don't see it, and the other one was just kind of silly. So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend Rango. And the music, I play the soundtrack all the time. I play a lot of the soundtrack when I'm driving because it just fits driving. Some of my other favorites, watch Napoleon Dynamite just because. Sky High. Sky High is a kid's movie, but it had a lot of puns in it. I love puns. What else do I got here? Tommy. You gotta watch Tommy. And I purchase, and these are like the video purchases you get on Amazon, so they're like mine to keep. But I have a lot of Laurel and Hardy. The best one I think is Swiss Miss. Oh, that just breaks my heart, and I love it. The Music Box is one of their best, and Blockheads is one of their. If you watch the Music Box, that's just kind of like them in a nutshell. That's what they do. And I also have Sons of the Desert. That was another popular one. What else do I have? Colossal. Colossal is a weird movie. It has, is it Anne Hathaway? And it looks like a monster movie when you look at the description of it, but it's kind of a movie about being abused and having people having people in your life that are toxic. And it's a really good movie. It does have monsters in it, but it's a different sort of monster movie. So yeah, I would wholly recommend that. If you're into the bizarre, I used to watch Japanese, Korean, that whole area makes the best and the weirdest horror movies you've ever seen. The best one is Strange Circus. I don't know if it's out there anywhere anymore, but Strange Circus is the most bizarre horror movie you'll ever see. And I used to have a checklist it was called my Asian horror movie checklist, because they all follow the same checklist. And after watching like 20 of these horror movies, I developed this checklist, and I'd watch a movie and I'd check everything off. For instance, someone in the first scene wasn't really there, and it was a ghost of someone. And that's in every horror movie that you get from Japan and Korea. And I don't know why. But Strange Circus, oh yeah, if you just want your mind blown, Strange Circus is the movie to watch. It was just so bizarre. Eraserhead. I always recommend Eraserhead without telling anybody what it's about. So watch Eraserhead. And along the same line, Tommy's a good one. It's kind of a trippy opera. It's all music. It's a lot of fun. L.A. Story with Steve Martin. That's a different kind of movie. I loved L.A. Story. It was just hilarious. And it just is one of those movies where you're like, it's kind of fantasy, it's kind of real life, and it's someone like me telling a story and embellishing it, and it's just a lot of fun. But those are some of my recommendations, and they're all on Amazon, but I know some of these are like on other streaming services as well. But yeah, start with Eraser. No, don't start with Eraser. Start with Fantastic Mr. Fox. I like Fantastic Mr. Fox. Start with Rango or Land of the Lost. Those are 2 very fun movies. And my final one, and it used to be my comfort show, was Corner Gas. And Corner Gas has 6 seasons. It was a series, and then like a couple years after the series ended, they had a GoFundMe, and they made a movie. And then a couple of years after the movie, they made an animated series, and it actually translated into the animation very, very well. And they were able to do grander, sillier jokes because of the animation that they couldn't do in real life. So this is one of the few shows where the animation actually is better than the live action show, kind of. But yeah, if you like, it's a very gentle humor. It's a very cerebral humor, very subtle, and every episode stands alone. You can watch the first episode to get the gist of who everybody is, but then after that, every episode stands alone. And watch Doc Small. I think that was in season 4. That was their absolutely best episode, and that's very much what the whole show is about. Doc Small and Contagious Fortune was just hilarious. Every time one of my kids get pink eye, I make them watch Contagious Fortune. But anyway, I should shut up. I've talked too much. And apparently I let something slip in my last video. I don't think it's going to help anybody. Somebody asked me some questions. I realized afterwards, I'm like, oh, they're trying to get to figure out what the slip was. But I didn't answer them. I ignored them. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm way over my 20-minute limit. And so this was a lot of fun. As you can see, I'm still working on a big pile of microcomputers. I got to get some done because now I got a regular tower. I got an image. That's all I got tonight is imaging. I'm supposed to image like 6 laptops, a tower, 120 micros. They want it done tomorrow, but you know. Anyway, I'm going to go, and you all take care.